It's just not good. Who will be in the military? How will you conduct policy? How can you say that there's women should only be in charge of women decisions when anybody and everybody can be a fucking goddamn woman? There's no definition of it anymore.
I'm asking you, why is it that people have to live under your sort of view of gender?
And it's not my view, it's science. It's facts, it's biology.
But biology, if we're talking biology, there's a spectrum of gender. There's people that are intersex.
That is a rare medical condition that has nothing to do with someone deciding that they could be the opposite gender.
I guess I'm still kind of struggling to understand how you think, if your view, say tomorrow Trump is elected, he says, all right, we're going to all live by Chaya's, decisions, right? What about all these happy trans people that are living their lives, that are not harming anyone? What harm are they doing by living their life as a woman who've medically transitioned? They're adults. I understand you have problems with kids, but with adult trans people, what's the harm that they're doing to society?
To society, they're spreading a lie that is affecting children also.
So you just believe gender is a lie. And what if somebody said to
you can't change your gender.
And what if somebody said to you, you're not a real woman? You're not a real woman because maybe you don't meet these certain specific definitions of femininity.
That's fine. I don't care. They can call me whatever you want.
But what if you would be forced to live by that system? Do you think it's fair that you would, be forced?
Is that based in science?
Well, I don't think any of it's really based in science.
Well, it is.
Gender is a social construct.
Well, gender is actually made up.
Exactly. Yes, we agree on this. We agree.
By a child predator, by a pedophile.
We don't agree.
Yeah.
We don't agree on
so he made up gender, and now they conflate the two, and they use it to basically trans kids. So there are actually two sexes. And there are 0 genders, and there are many personalities. That's what I believe.
Okay.
Well, so not to be on the side of Taylor Lorenz, the woke parrot, but I will say, I feel like Chaya would have a better argument if she just said, yeah, if you're a 30-year-old dude that wants to be a girl, and you're not hanging out with kids, go do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Who is that hurting?
Right. I agree. I mean,
that was her whole point about material harm.
Yeah. My libertarian foundations, if you're an adult and you want to do this, it's not my place to judge you.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
It's your life, you live it.
She's just not articulating her counter argument very well.
Because
she's just
in
other instances in this interview where she was pretty good at doing things, she was in this instance, I don't know why she's unable to formulate a proper
because she's
argument.
Angry.
Maybe
she's offering you can tell by her body language and her body stance that she's nervous because Taylor Rent is and it's probably why she hasn't come back to her on the personal tax that that we discussed earlier, the semi-personal tax Taylor Rent is making. It's Taylor. You can tell by the body language. Taylor Rent is on her like a little chihuahua. She's and whereas Raya is kind of a bit. She's not used to this as much as Taylor is.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, you can tell by the body language.
Yeah, she doesn't really do interviews. She's barely even a journalist.
No,
she literally just reposts things and says, "Ha, look at that."
Right. Exactly. She's not used. She's not used how to fight and frame a narrative, which is all Taylor Lorenz and our mainstream media does.
Still terrible.
Is framing. Yeah, but there's others who are much better, and she's in that industry.
Right.
So she's used to this.
The general argument is just the reason why it's a problem in the material harm is that it doesn't just stay independent by individuals. There is a collective group that is actively trying to push the agenda that anybody can be trans, and perhaps you are to children now that you are actually a trans kid because you come up against some hardships or are having some momentary bouts of confusion of your identity which has necessarily nothing to do with actual gender, but just the trials and general tribulations of going through puberty or being a teenage kid that we've all gone through, trying to find out who we actually are and how we exist and subsist in this world. That's all it really is. And instead, now you have these people who are trans or are trans allies, whatever, saying, maybe you're feeling this way because actually you are insert opposite gender of what they actually are. And it's like, no, that isn't necessarily the problem. It could be, but it probably isn't. And that's why it's an actual problem. It's not just being trans, or the trans community is not just existing in a subsection where it's just adults doing their trans little lives and doing everything they do because they live in America and you can be an individual and live your life how you want. However, most people will leave you the fuck alone. It's when you take this and you're now actively trying to harm the next generation of kids by trying to make them think this way. And that's what she is unable to somehow articulate to Taylor Lorenz's dumb question. And that's the material harm. The material harm is the more people we have in society thinking they're the opposite gender and getting life-changing surgeries to the point they aren't going to be able to have a normal and or healthy sexual life, it harms the country in so many particular ways. If too many people become fucking trans, it's just not good. Who will be in the military? How will you conduct policy? How can you say that there's women should only be in charge of women decisions when anybody and everybody can be a fucking goddamn woman? There's no definition of it anymore. How do you even function a society? And that's the material harm. The material harm is that it seemingly looks like a stratagem to bring one of many stratagems that have been used to try and eat away the United States from the inside through ideology being pushed to people who do not have fully functional brains and are unable I don't know. That's how kids are. Kids aren't that guy. Kids are all I don't know. They don't know until they're fully formed people. I was an idiot until I was 25, and my brain was fully functioning.
The way that I think,
come on, man.
The way that I think parents and schools should look at transgender stuff for kids is they should think of this little 2x2 matrix. So a kid comes to you and says, "Hey, I'm trans," right? Either A, they really do have this severe dysphoria,
right,
or B, they don't. And then on the other axis, you do something about it, hormones, etc., or you don't.
Right.
The percentage of people in this world that truly and honestly have this severe dysphoria and this problem is so low.
Right.
And the cost of getting this wrong, the cost of saying, okay, and going along with it, and then doing that treatment is so high that even if you honestly believe that your child is trans, looking at these outcomes mathematically, you should not do anything, right? The cost of doing the hormones and then having the kid change their mind later is so high relative to the cost of not doing the hormones, and then it turns out that your child really does have this gender dysphoria, right? That's how parents should look at it. They should look at it unemotionally and scientifically.
Yeah, but that's okay.
And
well, you say that until
and
it's your kid. Once your kid
is... try me. Try me.
You specifically, yeah, me also maybe as well. But most people are and here's the other thing: it's now fashionable to be a parent that has a trans kid. There's so many things. There are so many factors. That's the material harm. We're raising a nation, and we're creating a nation of a bunch of bloody idiots.
We found a way for certain parents to glorify Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah.
And that is frankly disturbing.
Yeah.
But I would reiterate again my libertarian principles. If you are of age where you decide, if you are of age, meaning you are a formed, functioning adult, and you decide to do that, you decide to do this.
If you're 18 and you're out of your parents' house, do what the fuck you want.
Basically.
Come on. Call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
If you want to go chop off your tallywhackle and become and replace it with the whole to China, that's up to you, man. Okay?
Yeah, it's your life.
That's your life. You do you, boo-boo, okay? But what we're saying is we don't want, and the material harm is, for these types of folks that have made that determination and things and are still suffering because maybe they don't get help in other things, like through a therapist or something else, and they go, you know what I'm going to do? Because I feel this way, I feel like there's a lot of other kids that are like me, so I'm going to help those kids do what I did. Even if they don't really have that problem, because again, it's just the general trials and tribulations of going through puberty and being a teenager.
Yes.
And then you convince so many of these kids that they're that way, and then they're not like you, and their lives get completely fucked up. And it's just, dude, it's just like the Bill Maher joke that he made where he was showing the graph of how much this is, but like he said, by the year 2050, it will all be trans. It's like, you know, I mean, it's trending that way. It's ridiculous.
It is, but it's only in certain, it's only really in certain communities where this is becoming fashionable, like carrying around a Louis Vuitton handbag.